Ladies and gentlemen, today is April 27th, 2025. My name is Eric Paxton, and we are going to be going over the custom Kydex lab where we get to make our own retention device. And the object that I have chosen to use is my Glock 22. So we'll go ahead and remove the magazine and show that it is empty. We'll open the slide, lock it back, show that it is indeed completely empty for safety and security purposes. And we'll go ahead and let that down for the purposes of putting it in the mold, because it will need to be completely as it would be carried. Put that back in it and lay it to the side. In our press is this box here that we have made, and that is going to be a hinged closed lid with clamps on left and right and front. We also have our tape measure for our marking of our Kydex sheet to cut it, which you can see I've kind of got a scored line down the middle where it's going to be cut. To make those marks, we have this. We also have our rotary cutter and our knife if needed. For the temperature checking, we have this, which is the laser thermal gun that was provided. And to do the heating, we have a t-shirt press, which is behind me on the side. That will be used in what was recommended for an even heating process. So at this point, I'm going to pause the video, do the blocking of my firearm, and then I will come back with with that portion of the video. Okay, now we have our firearm blocked up. We have our magazine, our slide release covered, our magazine release and trigger guard, our trigger portion of the trigger guard covered. We also have our stick across the top to create a channel for our front sight post as it slides down and in to the firearm's retention device. So now that we have this portion done, we will pause the video, cut our Kydex, get it ready to start warming, and resume the video at that point. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we have our heat press set up, and I will go ahead and flip the camera around. This is just a standard t-shirt press. The heating element is on the top up here with a padded bottom. We're going to go over here and we're going to power this device on. Recommended settings, we're at 360 for, we'll say 5 minutes. Okay, now it has begun, and we will keep going with that process, letting it heat up until it is ready to put into the press. Then we will turn it over here and do that, and we will get the press good and warmed up, or let this get good and warmed up. We'll lower it down a little bit so it's a little bit closer to the heat source. Once it's warmed up enough, now it's at 78. Once it's reached its optimal temperature, then we will kind of go from there and place it on the press with the device that we're going to use to make our retention device, and we'll resume the video there. Okay, now the device has been removed from the heat source, or actually the Kydex portion has been removed from the heat source, and it all has now been placed into our press box, which is now being pressed down, and as we speak, cooling for about 20 to 30 minutes. That is a required amount of time that it will take to cool and solidify to the form that we hope to eventually fit our firearm of choice. So at this point, we will go ahead and pause this video again, and in the 30-minute time process, when the cooling has reached its final portion, we will remove it from the press, check to see what it looks like, and then go further from there. Look forward to see you guys in a few minutes. Okay, now that it's had sufficient time to cool, about 30 minutes, here's what we have right now, which is this side. And then we'll go ahead and turn it around. And we have the other side. Now what we're going to do, pull these two halves apart, like so, and remove the firearm from the inside. With this portion, we no longer will need this at this exact second, so we can set it off to the side. But what we're left with is both the right and left sides of this this holster. So my plan is to do this, to now take these two halves and kind of trace out exactly what parts I'm going to cut off and what parts I plan on keeping. And I will do that with my marker, if I can locate where I've placed it, which is right in front of my face. So my intention is to cut this portion right here out. Right there, going across. And then we'll come down. All the portions that I have placed an X upon will be the parts coming out. The rest of that will stay. We can cut that one down and then kind of base our back piece off of that is how I plan on doing it. So I'm going to pause the video and resume back with that next part. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now have our placement markers for our belt loop straps on the back laid out, and for those of our screws that will be holding the frame of this together, this one being the retention screw with the rubber spacer in it, so that we can, you know, adjust the amount of tension this has on it. You don't want it being so strong you can't get it out. So at that point, we're going to go ahead and pause this video now and do those mounts, and then resume the video to show you the finished product. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and there we have it, the finished product. It is together, it is ready to go. We're going to go ahead and set the firearm down in it. We'll go ahead and show clear once again. Empty magazine, empty firearm. And we'll go ahead and set her down in there. Look at that. Isn't that just absolutely beautiful? I believe it is absolutely perfect. And we'll go ahead and put it on the belt just so you guys can see it. We'll slide the belt over here. Run it through. It's going to run through at an angle on this one. Snap that back in place. Put that right there. And that is pretty much how it would set, just like so. And we can place our piece inside of it just like we need to. Perfect, absolutely awesome. For a first, I think it did pretty well. What do you guys think? You tell me.